Good morning, everyone. Today's an exciting new week. I am Faith Suggs, Duke Women's Basketball alumni and now Director of Basketball Operations at Long Island University, as well as Social Media Manager. This is my wonderful father to the left or right of me, former NFL player with the New York Jets and Cincinnati Bengals, as well as executive board member and vice president of NFL Retired Players Association in Chicago. Dad, how are you? Happy Friday.
I am doing wonderful. Happy Friday. Getting ready for another hot weekend. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Is there anything new, or are we just going to dive right into today?
We're going to dive because we have an exciting show. We have a special guest. Let's go ahead and dive right into it. How about that?
So do you want to give the rundown on our guest before we play a wonderful video brought to us?
We're celebrating our 35th episode today. We are honored and privileged to have a dear friend, family friend, and 5-time Emmy Award winner, broadcaster, Kenny McReynolds. This will be a show to remember. Just to give you an idea, we want to share with the viewers this wonderful video. He's a humble man. We just want to share, give you some kind of insight of just the surface of what Kenny represents. So let's just kind of dive right into that video.
Honored to work with some of the industry's greatest talents, one of them being Sports Edition's broadcaster, Kenny McReynolds. He's a man with lots of stories to tell, but when it comes to his, he stays silent. Take a look at what we're able to find out about Kenny when he finally opened up to us about his life story.
I don't think there was ever a time in my life that I did not want to be involved in sports in some way, shape, or form. I loved roller derby. I didn't know it was phony. I thought it was for real. So one day I came home from school, turned on the TV, and I heard there's a WFLD Field Communications Chicago.
Tomorrow night in Chicago's International Amphitheater, something we know you fans are going to really love.
Chet Copic, who was the play-by-play guy for roller derby. So I dialed 411. You could do that back in those days. Get the number, Channel 32, ask for Chet Copic. He picks up the phone. I said, hey, my name is Kenny. I would like to see how you do it on TV. He says, no problem. That's when I fell in love with broadcasting and said, look, this is what I want to do. I owe my whole broadcasting career to the godfather of Chicago sports radio, Chet Copic. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sports Edition. I'm Kenny McReynolds. When I came to the U, let's have a talk show. Let's have live high school games. These kids work hard. They're the big following, but they needed a platform. We can help them get scholarships. We can help them get exposure. It's just the right thing to do to help these high school athletes.
Here we go again. Derrick Rose.
The 1 million. Showtime. And Derrick Rose used to say, when we would do a high school game at Simeon, he said it was like the whole world was watching. It was like the NBA on NBC, but it was high school basketball on the U. There's nothing worse than losing a child. My daughter died at the age of 7, but I had to continue living. Life didn't stop because my daughter died. Every morning when I wake up, the first thing I do is I play Bill Withers. It's a lovely day. What can I do today to make today a better day? Just get up, have a great attitude, a great positive outlook on life. It may not look good today, but tomorrow or later today will always be a lovely day. A lovely day. Oh, man, what are you doing? Get up.
Deserves it, man. Ladies and gentlemen, Kenny McReynolds is in the building. So, Kenny, I know it's going to be tough.
And wonderful. After this really quick, short break, we'll bring Kenny out. I hope everyone enjoyed the video. Looks like we're having technical difficulties. So we'll bring out.
Hey.
Hey.
It is a lovely day.
It's a lovely day. Lovely day. Thank you, too, for having me. Faith, I've been begging your dad to get me on this show for weeks. Thank you so much for having me on this outstanding show. I really love what you guys do.
No, thank you for coming. This is special. You've been with us kind of since the beginning of our broadcasting partnership a little bit.
You guys do a wonderful job. I really enjoy the guests that you have, and more importantly, I enjoy the topics that you talked about.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, like we said, today is our 31st episode. So it's very exciting. We're going to dive into something we have been touching a little bit on here and there throughout our 35 episodes, the process of making of a champion, building your dreams, and how to figure out how to get to where a lot of people want to get. And today it's only right to have you on because we're discussing on the process of becoming a legend.
And I don't know about that.
We should hope. We think so, of course. Chicagoland thinks so. So I think that you might as well embrace it. Well, let's dive right into it. Go ahead, Deb.
I want to back up. So, he is a family friend. I wanted him to kind of, we all have a story. Kenny always has a story about our family, but I wanted him to share with the audience his special Suggs moments.
Well, I think every day I wake up is a special moment. We grew up. I lived in a project for 18, 17 years. A lot of people don't realize that I was born a block and a half from Comiskey Park in Wentworth Gardens. Then we moved to Ida B. Wells, and we were poor, but I didn't know it. I went to the Catholic school. I've never went to a public school, and I think a lot of people say, "Well, how do you live in the projects and not get in trouble and stay out of gangs and everything?" I said, "Well, because of my mother. It wasn't so much what was outside the apartment; it was what was on the inside." And I had an old school, well, I don't say had, still have an old school, real strict mom who would knock you out if you did anything wrong. So I wasn't gonna do anything wrong, and that was I think that's really my special moments, was that my mother, my grandmother, and my two aunts really was strict with me, enforced education, and said, "Hey, look, there may be a lot of gangs and a lot of trouble outside, but you're not gonna be part of it." And I went to high school at Holy Name Cathedral at Chicago and State. So I had to go from the project all the way down to Chicago and State. And a lot of my friends thought I was going to a new world because they'd never been downtown before. But my mother said there's a whole new world out there, a different world, and you're going to be part of it.
That's awesome. Well, I know your story. It's a wonderful story. It's an inspiration to our family. And I think the first time I met you many, many times, I think the first time we had any conversation with, I think after the time you watched Faith play in the Super Sectionals. I don't know if you remember anything about that game. If you can remember anything about that game, why don't you share it with us?
Oh, you mean when she got cut?
Yeah.
Yeah, she got cut over her forehead, and like all this blood is gushing out, and I'm doing the ball game on Comcast with Jim Blaney, and I'm like, well, she ain't coming back. They take a timeout. She go get like the pre-wrap for your ankle, and then wraps it around her head. And like, all right, let's go. And that's when I found you in the stand. Go. And she didn't miss a play. It was one of the most unbelievable things that I've ever witnessed broadcasting a high school game.
Yeah, I do remember that. I remember you sharing that story with me because I thought you felt. I mean, we were on your show. You shared. I think you still had the bandage on her forehead.
She did. She had the bandage on her forehead. Faith, I don't know where you got that inspiration. You dug down. There you go. And, she had the bandage on her forehead, and I don't know where that inspiration came from, but it was very inspiring to me that you were able to continue despite having that gash over your head.
Well, I tell you, go ahead, Faith. I'm sorry.
All I could think about was that I had played for a coach that was college level discipline. So all I can remember is all those sprints and hard workouts and times I fell over that had led up to this point, and I had to keep going. I had put too much work into it just to, give up. And I really didn't have a choice at the time. So they just wrapped that pre-wrap around my head. I remember I probably had a concussion. Let's all be honest. I probably had a concussion the way that elbow hit me. So all I remember, it was kind of a daze, probably adrenaline. I think I'd give it to adrenaline for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
But I tell you what, it was awesome.
I wanted him to share that, Faith. You can go ahead, because I didn't mean to cut in, but I wanted to kind of share that because that was really that was the first time we really, I've watched Kenny for so many years, knew his history, but then that was the beginning of the inspiration of him in our life. Of course, I know his story, and I just really so appreciate him being a part of our show.
Yeah, and Faith, remember, as a youngster growing up, I used to watch your dad on TV. He was one of my idols, when I was in elementary school and preschool, watching your dad play football with the New York Jets. And even tackled Walter Payton once, which was very impressive.
I missed him a couple times, too.
Walter ran into him.
Probably. But Kenny, we'd love to dive in a little bit about what kind of inspired our guests. So what is your biggest inspiration in life?
I think my biggest inspiration in life goes back to my mother and my grandmother. I didn't have a father growing up. I always tell people, I didn't have a father growing up, but my mother was more than woman enough to be my mother and my father. And then my grandmother, I was really close to my grandmother. They were inspirations to me. I saw my grandmother was a teacher. I saw my mother work hard. They wanted me to go to Catholic school so that I could get the discipline from the nuns knocking me upside the head. And so that was really, I would say those were my inspirations, my mother and my grandmother. And I knew that I wanted to be successful and be successful for them. Because where I grew up, a lot of people never left 39th Street. They never left 35th Street. They never went downtown. They went from 39th to 35th, and that was it. I didn't want to do that. And my mother and grandmother told me, you are not going to do that. And it was really tough growing up. Sometimes you had to walk through gang fights to get home. But my mother said, hey, look, I'll get you out of the project by your 17th birthday. And before my 17th birthday, I turned 17 on July 26th. We moved June 8th because you had to get out of there sooner or later. So, yeah, I did without a question. My mother and grandmother were my inspirations. And I'd say the most amazing father figure I ever had was Ray Meyer. I tell people when I was at DePaul, I love Coach Ray. I will run through a brick wall for Coach Ray. The most amazing man I've ever met. That's what a college coach should be, with Ray Meyer. But my mother and my grandmother, my inspiration.
Right. And so, correct me if I'm wrong, you are a 5-time Emmy Award winner.
Yeah. I won 5.
Was this the dream? I mean, was this something you saw happening?
No. My dream was to play for the Chicago White Sox. Growing up a block and a half from the ballpark. I've been to every White Sox home opener since I was a year old. My grandmother started taking me. I used to skip school. The nuns would call my mother and say, Kendall's not at school today. Today's opening day. He ain't coming. So, don't worry about it. Be there tomorrow. But I ran track. I was all American in track, all world in track. Wow. I could beat anybody running. But then I kept hurting my knee. I've had 19 knee operations. And see, back in those days, Faith, we got cut. Long cuts. And I kept coming back too soon and hurting my knee. So my goal was to play for the White Sox in the summer and run track in Europe in the winter. But the knee operations knocked both of them out. So when I went to school, probably like Duke, maybe you guys do. I actually went to class. I'm not sure if they really do that at Duke. We know they didn't do it at Ball State, but at Duke when I went to college, and I said, so if I can't play anymore because of my knees, what can I do to stay in sports? Broadcast. So I started out at the old WBMX, which is now B103. I called him up and said I wanted to be into sports because there was no sportscasters on African American radio. Oh. And they said, we don't have a budget. I said, well, you know what? I don't care. So I went up there, did like an internship on my own. I emptied the garbage. I went to McDonald's. I did everything. And I kept bugging the program director. Give me a chance. So they finally gave me a chance. I made $7 a day.
Wow.
And I was happy to get it. And that's when I started the Kenny McReynolds BMX Sports. You should hear Common do that. Common loves that. The BMX Sports.
I love it.
I know, and I got on the radio. I begged for a chance. I said, I don't care what you pay. I just want to get in. I emptied the garbage. I did everything. And then for years in the radio, then I went to GCI, and then I got a chance to get into television, and I just took it from there. It wasn't the traditional way. I've never left Chicago. A lot of people say to get into broadcasting, you have to leave Chicago. I've never left Chicago. And people say, oh, man, you were very lucky. You didn't do it the traditional way. I tell people, no, I'm not lucky. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed that I was able to do it this way. But it takes a lot of hard work to stay in the business.
Right.
That's awesome. This sort of resonated so much because a lot of your life, a lot of some of the things that you've experienced, some of the things you've shared with me over these many years, I can so relate to when you talk about all the different knee injuries. I've had so many of those, and it just resonates. But one thing that you're very humble, and as I visualize your life and kind of dug into some of the things you've done behind the scenes, is your role in inspiring and helping young athletes. You have been very instrumental in helping kids get to their dreams and helping them navigate being an African-American, successful man, being able to reach back and help some of these kids and guide them the right path. And, can you share with me what kind of, I guess, obviously I know the answer because, your story is used to motivate some of these kids, but today's athletes really need someone like us to kind of look up to and can guide them. But maybe you can share a little bit about your role and some of the stories you've had to when you've inspired them. You've told me many stories, but this is
Hey, Shafer, I don't like to really talk about myself publicly. It's really funny because I talk for a living, but I don't like to talk about myself. But I'll just tell you this, that there's nothing wrong with helping people.
Right.
Magic Johnson told me once, no matter who we are, we all had someone help us in life. Now, as I told you before, I didn't have a dad growing up. I didn't have a dad. I had a mother, grandmother, 2 aunts. So when I got into a position to be able to help kids, and when I mean help kids, there's some kids who high school tuition I paid. They couldn't pay, but they wanted to go to Catholic school. You don't want them to get kicked out. There's the kids that I would get on the telephone and call coaches and say, hey, coach, there's this girl named Faith. You're missing out on her. I'm telling you right now. Take my word for it. Sign it. Get her right away. And I've had a lot of coaches say, hey, Kenny, if you say so, good. We'll give her a scholarship. We've done that to both men and women because, see, just like you, Shafer, we're lucky. We didn't have to pay to go to college. And Faith, you don't have the student loan that a lot of our friends we know that are still paying on a student loan. So if you can help a student athlete get into college and help their parents not have to pay for tuition, it's the right thing to do. And you don't have to put up a big sign, hey, look what I'm doing, look what I did. Do it from the heart, do it because it's the right thing to do. Now, I had a guy call me 1 o'clock in the morning. I pick up the phone, oh, this can't be good, 1 o'clock. Hello? Hey, can I speak to Kenny McReynolds? Yeah. And this is Mr. Who are you? I don't know who you are. Hey, can you help my daughter get a scholarship? I said, well, who's your daughter? Well, she's a basketball player. She didn't get a scholarship. She got overlooked. I heard you were a guy that could help her. So we got her a Pac-12 scholarship this morning. But I didn't mind doing it. It was the right thing to do. And if you can help people out, why not? It's the right thing to do.
That's awesome. That's go ahead, Faith. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just agreeing that not a lot of people, and I had spoke on this the other day, I'm in the coaches side of it all. It's a business. It's something that people can kind of get lost in, and a lot of people don't do it from a place of love and good heart. So it's refreshing to hear, and it's special to know that there's still people out there who just want to have these kids get these opportunities and experiences to play at the collegiate level and get these college educations for free. Because I thank myself every single day, and I thank my dad that I don't have any student loans.
Right.
Because adulthood is hard enough, let alone have to pay some student loans.
Oh, I know people that are still paying student loans from 30 years ago. I mean, it doesn't stop, and we're very fortunate. So my thinking is, if you can help somebody not have to pay student loans, why not? I mean, there's nothing wrong with being nice to people. I mean, it doesn't happen a lot today, but to me, it's the only way I know how is to be nice to people, and I think that goes back to my mother and my grandmother.
Well, Kenny, that kind of resonates obviously with both Faith and I. Just getting all the stories and just watching, the Chicago history. I've only been here. I got here in '85, '86, and there's just a few people in the Chicago history that made the kind of impact that you have in all different levels. I really appreciate you sharing that. I want to kind of change gears a little bit because I really appreciate that. Part of our story, what motivated our show. You asked us yesterday, why did you guys do the show? And our story is to kind of influence and helping strengthen the family core. And your story kind of runs parallel to ours. And I know, touch on these things. They're very, very difficult, but a part of life, a part of is adversity and overcoming those different things in your life that just kind of help you just going forward. The part of your journey was, the loss of your beautiful daughter, and I know Faith can understand it. The loss of my wife and mom, and what about her spirit continues to guide your life?
Oh, I think she guides me every day. I see her every day. She's my screensaver on my cell phone. She's my screensaver. There's pictures of her in my living room. She was really into sports. She had her own pool season ticket her whole life, all 7 years that she lived. She had her own pool season ticket. It's so funny, Shaver. The summer league was really big here in Chicago at one point. So I would take her with me to summer leagues. And people would walk in, here comes Kenny and Jessica. I kept her every weekend. People were like, man, you always babysit. You always got your daughter. I said, well, I ain't babysitting. This is my child. Yeah, her spirit guides me every single day. And anything I do, I always stop to think that she's watching me and that I have to set an example for her, that I have to be proud. And I tell you what, there's nothing worse than losing a child. And Jessica wasn't sick. She came in the house and dropped dead. So they didn't know for 3 months why she died. So they try going through that 3 months not knowing why your child died at age 7. And they finally found out she had the same virus that killed Randy Walker that attacked her heart. And that's why she dropped dead. And the former Northwestern football coach, Randy Walker, died from the same virus. And, and man, I didn't sleep for 3 months. I didn't know. I would pace back and forth at night. I looked terrible. I had bags out to here. And I was laying down one day watching Soul Train, and I fell asleep. And I kept hearing her voice. I'm sleeping. I kept hearing, Daddy, Daddy, Kenny. She called me Kenny. And I'm there. And then I heard, Daddy. And people think I'm crazy. I saw her face, and it was sunlight from ear to ear. Instead of a halo, it was from ear to ear, sunlight. And she had barrettes in her hair, and she said, take care of mommy, relax, I'm okay. And she disappeared. And people think I'm crazy, but ever since then, I was able to go to sleep. And that's her spirit. I think every day guides me because I'm like, hey, I know she's watching me. There's been some times when I've been in situations like falling asleep at the wheel. We've all done it. If you're driving and I'm getting a little sleepy, I've heard her voice, wake up. And I'm like, oh. And I get up and I hear her voice. Or the things, I lost my keys once. I couldn't find my keys. I'm going crazy. I'm going nuts. Where's my keys? I got to get out of here. I'm late for work. I got to go. I hear her voice. Look in your coat pocket. I go to my coat pocket. There's my keys. So, yeah, her spirit drives me every single day.
Oh, my God. What a beautiful.
Yeah, that's Dad, all about our guidance with you sometimes. So that's such a blessing. I remember one thing that I remember my mom used to say all the time was when you have lost someone, you will hear them all the time.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And you don't get as lucky as seeing them, but you hear them and you hear their guidance, or you find small moments that remind you of their presence in your life during that time period. But
Yeah.
Kenny, one of our main slogans is let go, let God, let go, let faith, let go, let love, that we were raised on and we built in our house. But how have you used the let go, let God slogan a little bit throughout your life, throughout challenging times you have experienced?
Well, I'm a Catholic, born and raised Catholic. At one time, I wanted to be a priest, and like you say, let God, and I use my faith in God to guide me through. As your dad knows, I've had 42 total operations from my knees to my heart to my hip to everything. And how do you get through these things? I have faith in God. Uh, at the day I went into the Chicago Sports Hall of Fame, you see in that piece where that's the day I actually flatlined and died. And I woke up to the doctor saying, let's call it official date of death. And opened my eyes and said, oh, that's a shame. Somebody died. Who died? And the doctor said, you did. Then I said, maybe I need a new doctor. but yeah, I use that faith. You're right, faith. I use that faith in my religion and in God to get me through every single day. And, some days it's a struggle. Some days it's hard for me to walk. My knees are terrible. I take a bunch of pills for my heart. I had to get a heart MRI all the time to keep up my heart. I had caught coronavirus, and we thank God I recovered from that. So it hasn't been easy, but without that faith and the faith in God, as you said, I don't know where I would be.
Right. What is one thing, now hearing what you're saying, what is one thing that you would try to tell the people who are watching, who are going to come across this show, how to kind of make it and stay positive during this time period? Because it is emotionally and draining and often sometimes hard to just get up and go out to work and try to stay safe during this pandemic.
Well, I look at it like this. It's a lovely day. God gave us another day. It's a lovely day. Someone is always worse off than you are. So what do? You wake up, thank God that you're here, and you go out and make the best and be the best you can be. Because I could lay in the bed all day and pout and cry and, oh, I don't feel well, there's a pandemic, I lost my job. Guess what? Nothing's going to change if I do it that way. So get up, attack it, have a positive attitude, and say, like I mean, it's a lovely day. I thank God every day is a lovely day. Let's go out and make the best of what we have, because we can sit back and complain about it. That's not going to change it. So let's go out and make it change. Don't take no for an answer. Be happy that we're here, because you don't have to be here. I'll tell you a quick story. When I had my kneecap removed from my left knee, I was in physical therapy. The therapist, how they do, they twist it and I'm like, ah. So this guy is sitting down and he says, young fella. I go over, yes, sir. What's all that screaming about? I said, oh man, you're killing me, I got all these kneecap off. He said, what's that? He didn't have any legs. He said, I wish I had a leg that could. No problem after that, man. It's a lovely day. And I never yelled again in therapy. Never again.
Gratitude.
I appreciate the legs that I have that hurt.
Right.
So keep a positive attitude, make the best of every situation. We can sit back and complain about it, but that's not going to change it. What can I do to change it? What can I do to make it better? What can I do to make Faith's life better today? What can I do to help Shafer out? Anything that I can do to make your life better. Let's make everybody's life better and have a better life.
Right.
Awesome.
Right. Yeah.
I know it sounds like a cliche, but it's the only way I know how.
It is, and it's the only way really to do it. Only you have control over how to shift your mental state. Only you have control over how you see your day. And starting your day with gratitude, starting your day on your knees, praying to God, thanking Him for even waking you up that day. That's the way you would want to wake up every single day. It's such a blessing to be able to start a new day.
Every day is a lovely day. It's a lovely day. And I even told my folks that when I die, I want Bill Withers laughing through the church. It's a lovely day. Lovely day. When we walk out of that church, in that casket. I want to blast it. It's a lovely day. I want everybody to remember it's a lovely day.
Right. Right.
I don't
Well,
cry. I don't complain.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy to be here. And I'm happy to be on the show with you guys.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
Great. I mean, and one more. I mean, we are in a pandemic, but it's only right if we talk to you about this because I feel you have some great insights. There's a lot going on right now with social justice, a lot of social justice within sports.
Yeah.
It seems that our athletes are leaders in our political agendas right now, which is pretty amazing. A lot of these young voices speaking out. We know you have been able to see and share a lot of sport history over these years. Can you share with our viewers any changes the way Black athletes have been able to use their platform to influence change in a way?
Well, I think you look at people, especially the most popular African American athlete in the world, LeBron James, that now not only are they speaking up, people are listening. I think that's the biggest change. For years, athletes have spoken up. Remember, you go back to Muhammad Ali, Bill Russell, Lou Alcindor back then. They had the big conference at the press table, but people weren't listening. Now, all of a sudden, the athletes have the platform and people are listening. And that's why I'm so happy that our African American athletes led by LeBron James, they're not just going to shut up and dribble. We're going to speak out. We're going to talk about this injustice. Hopefully they can make a change. But I'm happy that with all the millions of dollars that they're making, and they're making more than ever before, but that's not important to them. They are stepping up and using their platform to be heard, and now people are listening. Years ago, nobody would listen. Now they're listening, and thank goodness that these athletes, now someone is listening and they have the platform, and they're taking advantage of the platform, which is the key. Now that you have the platform, what are you going to do with it? That's why I love LeBron James so much. I just care less about what he does on the court. Off the court, he is truly amazing.
Yeah. Yep. And who is the most impactful person that you have met that has represented these wonderful things we're talking about?
I think you talk about athlete.
Yes. Take it both. Let's do both.
I would say the most impactful person would probably, I know you're gonna get tired of me saying this, probably my mother, who was born in Alabama in the 30s. And some of the stories she could tell you, how they could smell the flesh when somebody gets burned, hanging from a tree, and the things that she went through. I would say my mother, and of course I'm friends with President Obama, and he wasn't president back then when we first met, and he was very impactful because just to sit down while you're playing basketball and to talk to President Obama, you knew one day this guy could be president because he's such an impactful person, and he was like that well before he became president. And I would say athlete, Andre Dawson, my best friend. What a great impact. What a guy that's been speaking out for social justice and change for years. And so I would say those three people really stepped up in my life.
Right.
I like the way you popped that picture of President Obama up there. I didn't know you were going to do that.
Yeah, I got everything.
Yeah. Hey, you got to show me how to do that, Faith, and I have no idea. You got to show me how to do this.
Well, when I was sharing, because we know your story, and there's so many influential people that you know, and not just know, but they have a relationship with you because of what you represent. And obviously, President Obama is obviously, and that was without question was going to be the picture that we put out on our phone.
Yeah, he's a great person, and you know what? He was the best president in my lifetime. But he's also a wonderful man that was very, very caring about people. He was always thinking about the other person and what would make the world better. And we used to always say, because I grew up with his brother-in-law, Craig Robinson. Hey man, Craig, man, this dude could be president one day. You're just saying it jokingly, and all of a sudden he becomes president.
Yep.
What a wonderful man.
Oh wow. Well, I know that you have to jump off in a few minutes, but I wanted to kind of touch on something that a lot of people don't know. You are obviously a tremendous athlete, but you obviously did the coaching too. I mean,
yeah. I had a lot of fun coaching at I worked with Ray Meyer.
Golden State Warriors, Boston Celtics.
When I was scouting,
Scouting, yeah.
I started for 13 years. C.J. Watson, who Well, I called up the Golden State Warriors, and he ended up playing with the Bulls. Played 10 years. I was part of 2 Rookie of the Years. Okafor with Charlotte, and then Mike Miller with Orlando. I was part of that. Yeah, you know what? I like scouting better than I like coaching.
Okay.
Yeah, I really did like the scouting aspect. The only reason I stopped was because I got sick, and all the travel and everything. And I've had some chances to go back, and I'll go back if I can just stay in the Chicago area. I don't want to do all the travel anymore. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it's very important. It's an important job that people don't realize how important it is. On draft day, when that general manager asks you your opinion, you better know, because he has to make the call, and he's depending on you. And that's what I love so much about Bernie Finch's staff. We work in Charlotte. They're like, I don't care what you guys say, just have your facts to back it up. So it was a lot of fun. It really was. The travel can be hectic.
Yeah.
And I kept my TV job. And so I'm just going to a high school game one day. I'm out on the road scouting the next day. I'm coming back taping my show. Then I'm going to it got too much. I wasn't young like Faith. I couldn't do all that.
Well, it is. You can say that you've done it all. I can tell you that. You can say that you have done it all. You have tapped all forms of this sport.
Well, I've been very blessed, Faith. God has been very good to me, and I'm very fortunate to wake up every day and tell everybody what a lovely day it is. And I'm very happy and fortunate that your dad and you let me come on your show, because I'm a really big fan of your show.
Thank you so much.
I tell you what, we may have to have another mug. We have Let Go, Let God, Let Go, Let Faith, Let Go, Let Love. We may have another mug called Lovely Day. Lovely Day.
That's exactly what it is.
Lovely day. And I just want you to know that you're always welcome on our show. I mean, we can probably, you well know, when we talk on the phone, conversations go for a length of time. And in all respect to your time, I wanted to just say how much we appreciate you personally, but also professionally. And you were just an inspiration and motivation to so many people, but especially to the
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate the kind words. I really appreciate you having me on your show. I think you guys do a wonderful job. And thanks so much for having me.
Awesome.
All
right.
Well, thank you, Kenny. Hopefully we'll see you again.
Okay.
And you have a wonderful, wonderful, lovely Friday.
Hey, it's a lovely day.
Lovely day.
All right. Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
See you later.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that was wonderful. I just wanted to touch on something that if what we can see from Kenny's story is that the ability to use adversity, the ability to use everything that happens in your life to kind of create your next chapter every single time, right? We look at life as a book, and the ability to be able to form a chapter and create evolving your chapter and create making life so much more interesting at each time you get an opportunity. I think that that's the definition of who Kenny is. He has used adversity. He has used his mother, his grandmother. He has used where he comes from in Chicago. He's used everything to kind of evolve and create who Kenny McReynolds is and who he is to others. As you can see, he leaves a wonderful effect on our family, and as well as many, many, many people in his lifetime.
You know, his story about his daughter is magnified and resonates so powerfully. And when he talked about the spirit, I can see your face, I can see my face, because so relate to that. And we've had a couple shows about healing, grief, and between Kenny, my brother, you, and we have some of our favorite viewers have really appreciated that topic. And every time we have someone on like Kenny, what an inspiration! What like I can't even imagine about losing a daughter, but his inspiration, his spirit, and then knowing all these other adversities, knowing all the other possibilities, that's why I had a lot of injuries. You would never know. You meet him, you see him, you talk to him, that he is going through or have gone through what he was experiencing. Yeah. But it's a powerful person, and I so appreciate him coming on our show. First, we'll have him back.
Right.
Yes, I thought you thought I had stories, right?
Oh no, your stories are boring compared to Kenny. Your stories are boring. Maybe because I've heard them a billion times, but yeah, I just hope everyone. I mean, if this show has touched you in some sort of way, or you thought that this was a fun thing, Kenny is obviously a gem to our Chicago sports. He has been around a long time. You could hear some of the names that he had mentioned. Everybody knows Kenny in some sort of way. So if you love this show, share it with your friends, comment, show us a like, because today was really fun. A great ending to a F3 Friday. So again, thank you everyone for joining this wonderful Friday morning. We're so thankful for everyone who discussed and talked with us, as well as Kenny today. We'll see you on Monday to keep it going. We want to thank you to Amazon Fire, YouTube, Facebook, Roku, Apple TV, and most importantly, on our key platform out of Phoenix, Arizona, E360 TV. Again, this is Faith Family Focus, where we want to use our faith as a vehicle to help heal and sustain others on their path to strengthening the family core. And of course, our new slogan, which we touched on today, is let go, let God, let go, let faith, let go, let love. Everyone have a wonderful Friday. Stay safe, stay inside, and wear your mask. We'll see you guys Monday.
Have a lovely day too, Faith.
Lovely day.